How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Hopefully everyone is having a lovely day. Jonah Williams, as most of us know by now, has requested a trade from the Cincinnati Bengals. Did so shortly after the signing of Orlando Brown Jr. He didn't like the idea of being put at right tackle. He didn't like the idea that he felt like he was shut out by the organization. He didn't really tell him about it. Actually shortly about that, I think that worries me as a fan, as a competitive person, as a competitor in general. It's like, yeah, I understand why he felt slighted. He didn't really like how the organization didn't talk to him about it. But I think the message was pretty clear. They didn't go and sign a quarterback and say, Joe, we're going to move you. And there's a reason they didn't do that. They didn't slight Joe, do something to Jonah Williams like that to say, hey, we're going to do this without your permission. We're going to move you and you're going to like it. It's like, no, they did it because he struggled mightily and said, we got to find somebody to play left tackle. We don't know if this guy is going to be a starter in our football team in the future. And if I'm a competitor and I'm a guy that wants to grow and improve, I'm taking that and saying, yeah, I understand. You have every right to feel like they slighted you. I completely get that. It's a shut. They didn't really talk to you about the decision and whatnot. But at the same time, I'm looking at it and saying, hey, my career, my job, if I want to be a starting left tackle in this league, I got to step it up. Because if he was good enough to be the starting left tackle in this football team, they wouldn't be signing somebody else to that money. So, that being said, I would have loved to see Jonah's mindset kind of be switched to let me work hard, let me grind hard, let me go to this next season. It's going to be my best season yet. If it's got to be at right tackle for the Bengals, so be it. I'll prove them wrong. I'm going out there and doing best right tackles in the league. They're not moving back to left. They're going to pay me like a left tackle. Somebody's going to do it if the Bengals don't. I'm in a good situation playing for the Bengals. Burrow's going to make me look great with how quick he gets rid of that football. I got to cash in on that. But instead, it felt like the accountability wasn't taken there. For me, that's a big thing when I'm looking at players. I'm looking at guys over in this football team is how much accountability they take, how much they're not going to, make it about themselves. Nonetheless, though, this is an interesting situation for Jonah Williams. We've seen him garner interest from several teams. Question one, are the Bengals, when would we expect the Bengals, I should say, to trade this guy? Personally, it's really hard to tell because I'd like to say let's trade him right now if you're going to trade him because multiple teams interested. You got the demand's high right now while everybody's interested. Jump after it. Because once the draft happens and guys happen to fall to teams like, all right, we fill the void. We don't need him no more. It feels like then you're seeing teams' interest go away because they got the guys they wanted. But the other option could be as well, what happens if teams don't get the guy they wanted? Then they have to try a little harder for Jonah Williams. And that's where you can say, you know what, maybe a trade in the draft does happen. But I don't know. I think that's risky. I think it depends what the Bengals are getting. We don't know what they're getting right now in that situation. And that may be what the Bengals are saying is, hey, we'll play it through right now. We're going to go ahead and see what we can get for this guy. If we can't get anything, okay. They're not going to settle for less. They do hold all the power here. I think they hold all the leverage. If they can't get anything, all right, we'll wait till the draft. If we still can't get nothing, maybe teams are throwing 5th and 6th out there and say, to us, that ain't worth it. And they'll say, we'll wait and see what happens. Or maybe they don't like the 3rd, or maybe they want to wait till the draft. Maybe, I think this is an interesting one. It doesn't get talked about enough. Maybe the Bengals want to force this guy to play for this football team. Maybe they're trying to rebuild bridges that were burnt here in the last couple weeks. There's a long time before the regular season starts. And at the end of the day, Jonah Williams holds absolutely no leverage here. If the Bengals do not trade him, and he doesn't start at right tackle, that payday, that left tackle, that money, his potential is as a starter in the NFL drops a lot. He's going to be playing on a 1-year deal. He's going to hope he stays healthy. And he has to hope some team's going to take a chance on him after sitting out a year or after not playing. I can't imagine that not playing in the Bengals' favor because the opposite is exactly what Jonah Williams wants to happen. He wants to play this season. He wants to play as much as he can. He wants to have the best season of his career so he can get paid. Maybe it won't be at right. Maybe he has a great season at right tackle. Then he gets paid some more to play left tackle. But sitting out and not performing, not proving yourself after the last 2 years he's had is not going to get him that. And for that reason, it's very possible the Bengals could say, hey, listen, you're going to play right tackle for us. Or you can just sit out the rest of the season. So the Bengals don't have any plans to spend that cap he has on that cap hit he's got right now before the season starts. Like, it is what it is. We're trying to win a championship. Bengals hold the leverage and say somebody's either going to pay up and give us something, or you know what, you can try to sit the bench. We know you're not going to do that because you need to play, prove yourself. And then possibly, again, Bengals mesh those burnt bridges with Jonah Williams. This guy goes out there and plays like an absolute stud this season at right tackle. It could work out really well for him. Really well. I mean, I can understand. I definitely do. When we look at these guys as a player and we look at them as something on the field, but I mean, as a human, you do get it. You do get why he felt slighted. I completely can resonate with that. But I think at the same time, as time passes, that they remesh that bridge and he starts to like refocus on the game of football and say, you know what, I got to get better. And he's got a chance to go out there and prove himself this season as a right tackle. And he has a good season for the Bengals. A, the Bengals could potentially have their right tackle for the future, or B, he's going to get paid regardless. But I think really it's a win-win for the Bengals unless we get to the draft, and this could be an interesting piece, where we get to the draft, the Bengals want to trade up and they say, you know what, we'll give you this pick and Jonah Williams. And the Bengals can use that to their favor. But I don't know if they're going to look at this and say, hey, let's take a low draft pick. Anything's better than nothing for Jonah Williams. We'll see, though. I think that this front office has been making some methodical, some strategic, and some great decisions lately. And I would love to believe they're going to get the best they possibly can out of Jonah Williams, or we'll see. But the idea that he could still play for the Bengals, I mean, it's possible. He's not the first person to request a trade and end up playing for that team still, because that trade's not granted. So we'll see. Personally, I'd love it. I want to see this guy turn it around. First round draft pick for this team. He had his first 2 years, they seem promising. He gets healthy for this team. He plays well. Again, he plays in front of Joe Burrow, has a chance to redeem himself. I'd love to see him succeed. I really would. We'll see what happens. Love you guys' thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.